On this episode of the Apple Watchers, Apple announces Q3 2020 earnings. Some Apple Watch Series 5 owners are reporting inconsistent battery levels. Apple partners with UCLA to use Apple Watch and iPhone for 3-year study on depression. SVP of Worldwide Marketing Phil Schiller now has a reduced role at Apple. And Apple removes the popular game Fortnite from the App Store. All this, our picks, tips, and much more. This is episode number 32. Welcome to the Apple Watchers, a podcast covering all things Apple Watch and many things Apple. This episode and every episode is brought to you by me, Kevin Hare, and my co-host, Jonathan Zarko, aka Jay-Z. All right, let's get started. Well, hello. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Nothing much new to report. Same old thing. You?
I've been having some technical difficulties, but other than that, everything's been okay.
Yeah, this episode's a week late. Your microphone just decided not to work.
Or work too well, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, it was really loud.
Yeah.
So that's being sent back to the manufacturer, hopefully covered under warranty. Now, we're doing an experiment here. We're using, on your end, we're using a 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is supposed to have that microphone that has a podcast quality microphone built in.
Yeah.
So this will be a test. See how it sounds.
How do my golden tone sound, guys? I hope it's okay.
I don't think we would do this on a permanent basis. There's definitely a little, background.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it works. So anyways, why don't we go ahead and dive right in, and you could lead us off with some Apple Watch stories.
Alrighty. So some Apple Watch Series 5 owners are seeing issues with inconsistent battery levels and random shutdowns. An inconsistent reading of the actual battery level appears to be at fault, as in most cases, the Apple Watch reports near 100% battery levels for most of the day, before dropping down to close 50% and then shutting off. Apple Watch Series 5 owners have been complaining about battery life issues since the device was first released in September of 2019. And while the issue isn't common, there have been a good number of people who are experiencing problems. Complaints have persisted across multiple WatchOS updates. Some affected users have been able to solve the problem by getting a replacement watch from Apple, but other techniques such as resetting the watch, repairing, deleting watch faces, and more have not worked. I don't really know if replacing the watch counts as fixing the problem.
Yeah, it's a great fix. That would be good if Apple just did that. I could attest to some battery issues. Mine are just kind of strange, and I think I may have mentioned them on previous episodes, but the battery lasts generally pretty long. I'm noticing a difference using the cellular. I had cellular turned on. I've noticed a little bit of difference, but sometimes I just turn it off when I know I'm not going to be using it. When I charge my watch in the morning, it takes, it seems to charge fast up to 99%, and then it just hangs on 99% for, 45 minutes, something like that. I have not been able to time it yet, but yeah, just odd. And sometimes I have to pull the watch off the charger at 99%, which is fine. It's enough to make it till the next day for me. So, but just kind of strange. And I'm surprised they haven't done an update, because they've done some updates, which we'll mention for iOS and macOS. But yeah, nothing for Apple Watch yet.
Yeah. So with WatchOS 7 on my Series 4, I've also been having some battery issues. But I think that was really more using the sleep function. I was trying out that sleep tracking.
Yeah.
And it just seemed to not want to last the full day. There were a couple times I was trying to work out and the watch would die in the middle of it. But that might also be because, again, it's not charging as quickly or it's not charging as much as it was before. For me to be able to get a full charge on it, I almost had to leave it on the charger for like 3 hours, which is a little different than what you've been able to do. So I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I'm using like a third-party charger. I got the whole little dock combo deal. I put my phone and my watch on it. It really wasn't giving me any new data. I did it for about a week and a half, and it said, yeah, you get a little over 7.5 hours of sleep every day. So I was like, okay. I'd stopped doing it. I just went back to my old habit of taking the watch off at night, and it seems to be okay. So I'm wondering, though, if people with the Series 5, like what their usage looks like in that way.
Yeah. But I want to point out too, yours is a little different too, because you're running the WatchOS 7 beta.
Yeah, yeah. So there's still some bugs.
You'll definitely have issues, and it may not be over.
It's true.
Because when you get beta updates, you could get worse battery life, but it'll work out in the end. It's
So,
just you may have some rough times there.
yeah, so far things have been fine. Speaking of issues, I'm trying to check and see how big my battery power is right now, and I can only get one watch face, so that's fun. Let's see. Instead of swiping over, I'll check here. And yeah, so like today I've had the watch on all day. It's 5 o'clock right now that we're recording. I put it on around 9ish, and I'm at 78%.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, it's been pretty good, battery life. But before, when I would wear it over, throughout the night, it would right now it'd be like 34%. And then when I start a
Okay.
workout, it would just start to plummet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting. Well, moving on, Apple partners with UCLA for a 3-year study on depression. Participants in the study will wear an Apple Watch and use an iPhone with an end goal of revolutionizing the detection and treatment of depression. The study will measure how factors like sleep, physical activity, heart rate, and daily routines factor into depression and anxiety. The pilot phase will begin, I think that was last week,
Mm-hmm.
and involve 150 students recruited from UCLA health patients, while the main phase will start in 2021 and include 3,000 patients and student participants. This is pretty cool. This is very interesting.
This is cool. I don't think it's surprising to anybody that sleep and physical activity and daily routines will affect your depression and anxiety. But it is kind of cool to see, maybe we could, through this study, we'll be able to do some better correlations. And it's always exciting to me to see, technology being used.
Yeah, this would help right now because I think a lot of people are going through depression and anxiety. And I can
Mm-hmm.
openly say I've had bouts of anxiety through this whole pandemic.
Same.
We'll speak about it in another episode, but I've decided to attempt to take up running, and that seems to help because exercise, getting your heart rate up, seems to help. But this is this is very cool. I mean, anything that helps with that type of treatment of depression and anxiety is definitely a plus.
And this kind of heralds too what we had been talking about before, that I think we're going to be seeing more and more of these studies coming out, especially with Apple, hardware, because they're really positioning themselves as being a health tool company. So very cool.
Very cool.
All right, so let's transition to a couple just Apple stories. Apple is facing a second multi-state probe over iPhone throttling and shutdowns. Recently, we had learned that the Texas Attorney General was leading a multi state probe against Apple, and now we've learned that the Arizona AG is holding up their own investigation concerning the throttling of older iPhones leading to unexpected shutdowns. Specifically, the probe is looking at whether the deliberate slowing of older iPhones violated deceptive trade practice laws. Notably, Apple has already allocated up to $510 million in a settlement over the performance throttling in the US, and you can learn more about getting your share if eligible. Time will tell if further lawsuits will be filed over this battery gate in the future.
I guess this is never going to end. Battery gate.
Yeah, it's. I thought we were over it. Maybe this will be the last bit of it, since Apple's already kind of put that money together, and it's basically saying like, come. It's not a lot. I think you can qualify for something along the lines of like $10, but that's only if the number of people they think were affected actually come forward. If more people come forward, then everybody's going to get a smaller slice of that pie. So 510 million sounds like a lot, but when you split that over 510, or 500 million people, it's not. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Who knows? Well, moving on in lighter news, Apple updates the Apple Store app with a new For You tab. And this is kind of neat. So, the new For You tab lives in the Apple Store's navigation bar and provides users quick access to recent orders, information about owned devices, services, store reservations, and product tips. For You acts as a central hub with personalized information and advice similar to the For You sections in Apple Music and the App Store. Sitting at the top of the page are suggestions which, on startup, ask users to select a nearby store. The section supposedly offers up recommendations for upcoming events and Today at Apple sessions, but is currently inactive for users living in areas where stores are closed due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Below suggestions is a carousel containing a user's purchased and activated devices. The category offers device details and a link to shop related accessories. Also, the Apple Store app now allows users to compare their current iPhone with a newer model to better understand the new features and hardware. So this is kind of neat. I'm actually surprised they didn't do this sooner. It seems like it
Yeah.
should have been there all along, just kind of a way for them to, I guess, sell more accessories, more or less too. Yeah, I see that, when you jump in there, it asks you if you want to add funds to.
That's the first thing on my suggested for me. Add money to your Apple account balance, which feels a little aggressive.
I think that's for everyone because it was in mine as well. I don't know. Maybe they can kind of move it down the list
Yeah.
there.
Like when you click into it, it gives you the option to redeem a gift card, add money to your balance, or check the balance of a gift card, which from like a user experience standpoint is nice for, hey, do you have a gift card? Make sure it's added to your account. But to just be like, add money to your account feels a little aggressive.
Yeah.
Especially when I cycle through my devices and I see an iPhone, a computer, a watch, an iPad, an Apple TV, another iPhone, another computer. Like, guys, I've given you a lot, and I have reoccurring things as well. So
That's funny.
it just feels like a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, it also says that I'm available to upgrade my iPhone, which not sure why I would do that right now.
Yeah, to the same phone that you have.
Unless I was going to downgrade to an SE and just, save money.
I don't think that's what they're expecting you to do. Although, I mean, if you just sold your other one, even if you just bought an SE, that is still giving, a new purchase. So I will say this new dock that they're showing here does look kind of cool.
It's working on you.
Yeah, it is working. I wonder if I'll charge the watch better than the other one I have.
Better add some money to your funds there.
Right to my account.
Before we leave this story, actually, I didn't put it in here. I don't have a link for it, but probably don't need one. But they've also added a button that you can just, it's like a buy now button if you have an Apple card.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now you really need an Apple card.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you need that accessory just in one click.
Yeah. Right now. Don't even think about it.
John, you don't want to spend like time with like 5 clicks or, 6, 7 clicks. 1 click, you're done.
You joke, but there's a lot of user experience studies that have shown that the less clicks result in better conversions. So,
oh, absolutely, I believe it.
I'm just waiting for the day when Apple just starts sending you stuff, and if you don't send it back, they charge you. Like we thought you'd like this. Yeah, I guess I would.
Yeah, actually, they should do that because there's like clothing services that do that. They send you all the clothes, and you just try them on, see what you like.
Yeah, like a Stitch Fix. Yeah.
Just send me a bunch of stuff and I'll tell you if I like it, I mean, they could have sent me a 16-inch MacBook Pro to compare to a 13-inch, see if I like it. Hey, they maybe could have sold me on it, but well, Apple.
I'm sure it's coming.
Your loss.
Apparently not, though, because Apple announced their fiscal Q3 2020 earnings with a revenue of $59.7 billion. Despite the COVID-19 outbreak, the company has announced revenue and profit, the revenue of $59.7 billion and a profit of $11.25 billion. This compares to the $53.8 billion in revenue and the $10.04 billion profit reported in the same quarter last year. As has become customary, Apple doesn't report unit sales for any of its hardware products. Instead, it reports a breakdown of revenue by product category. And so the numbers for the fiscal Q3 2020 are $26.42 billion on iPhones, which is up 1.66% year over year. $13.16 billion for services, which is up 14.85% year over year. $7.0 billion for Macs, which is up 21.63% year over year. $6.58 billion for iPads, which is up 31%, and a little under $6.5 billion for wearables, home and accessories, which is up 16.74% year over year. Which is interesting. So services, Macs, iPads, and wearables are all in the double digits. And this actually makes sense to me because during COVID, people I think are exercising and working more at home, which has resulted in a lot of people needing to buy things. I've also seen some companies that have been giving like little stipends and stuff to their employees to help set them up at home. So, if your company gives you $500 or $1,000, people are buying iPads and whatnot, right? So makes sense.
Absolutely. This is staggering, though, the amount that all these categories are up. It's really wild because a lot of companies are actually suffering right now.
Mhm. I'm surprised those services aren't up more, just considering that they launched Apple TV Plus. Although right now their whole deal about you buying a thing, you getting the service for free is probably doing that.
It's really wild that all the categories were up. That's what kind of blows
Mhm.
my mind because you would expect, certain categories like the Mac, maybe even the Apple Watch, but even I mean the iPhone is even up. I mean not a lot, but I mean, I don't know. It's just wild, really
Yeah.
wild. And apparently they're going to be launching more services coming up too.
One thing to highlight about the iPhone percentage, I mean, granted, it's only 1.66%, but it is the highest segment of the pie at 26.4 billion. So, a smaller percentage of that is still a significant amount of money. Like when you compare that wearables was only up 6% or $6 billion rather, which is even though it's a 16.75% increase. So when you start getting into the averages of things, you start to see it. I think they've kind of dialed in the iPhones. And so I don't know if we're going to start seeing a lot of those high double digit growth percentages. In fact, we may start to see things start to drop as people start buying other things too. So if they can keep it flat, then that's something magical.
Well, moving on, why your Mac might say its battery is not charging on macOS Catalina. So, in a new support document, Apple explains how a new not charging battery status is a feature of its macOS Catalina battery management tools. The new battery health management feature is aimed at prolonging the lifespan of the MacBook batteries by monitoring battery temperature and charging patterns. So, in their quote, they say, depending on its settings, your Mac might temporarily pause charging to help calibrate battery health management, a feature designed to improve lifespan of your battery. The company adds that the indicator is normal and part of how the battery health management feature optimizes charging. Through the battery percentage may drop when a Mac has paused charging. It will soon resume powering up to 100% based on a user's charging patterns. Additionally, a Mac may sometimes show the not charging indicator if it is plugged into a power source that isn't delivering enough power
Mhm.
or it is plugged in using the incorrect cable or adapter.
That's probably smart because since like the new MacBooks have the USB C, people may be plugging in the wrong things. And so if you're plugging in what should be for your phone and it's to your computer, it's good to not try to draw power to charge your device, instead to acknowledge like, yeah, you have the wrong thing plugged in.
Right. And I haven't seen any of this. I'm running macOS Catalina and I kind of, for the most part, keep my laptop plugged in all the time,
Hmm.
but I haven't seen any issues. But I am using the charger that they included in the box.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that either. Although I'm using a charger that I'm using the wall plug that they gave me, but I have a different like MagSafe charger, and then that's being plugged into a device that's like an expansion port on the side, so I can get more old USB plugs in there. But I don't think I've seen this either. It may just be that our the way that we use it doesn't merit it. If it's not doing
Right.
a lot of cycling. So okay, well, moving on. Apple updates the iMac with new Intel processors and a better webcam. So the processors have been updated inside the 27-inch iMac to Intel's 10th gen Comet Lake processors, and also switching out the webcam to a higher resolution 1080p HD sensor instead of the low res 720 found in the other Macs. SSDs are now standard across the line, and there will be a bunch of new configuration options, including a nano texture version with less reflective matte glass. Apple says that the new T2 chip enables some features for the new camera beyond the improved resolution, like tone mapping, exposure control, and face detection, though not Face ID. The T2 chip does allow for some other features, though, including support for Hey Siri, or Sally, rather. Sorry if I've activated anything for anyone. A new audio controller that should improve audio bass and fidelity at lower volumes, and True Tone for the display. The microphones are also updated with a three-way mic studio quality array. This is not a major redesign that has been rumored and hoped for, nor is it the first ARM based Mac. Instead, the 2020 iMacs look identical to the last generation. So interesting that they did this.
But very strange.
Why?
Very strange time because there was those strong rumors of a redesigned iMac coming out, like completely redesigned, coming out
Mhm.
this year.
Unless they're worried that they may not have support, like software support for ARM based Macs. But I still don't understand how that's going to be a problem because the software should be written for the operating system, and the operating system should be programmed for whatever chip it's on, right? I don't know if that changes things that much.
Yeah,
It's strange. Like, I'm glad to see that they updated the camera and a better mic is good.
finally 1080p on an Apple computer.
Yeah.
I would guess too. I'm sure this means they're going to do that from now on. I would hope in all their computers,
Yeah.
including the laptops. I mean, everyone's at home, and
Yeah.
that 720p camera's got to go, man. It's got to go.
If you were in the market or had the cash, would you jump on this or would you wait?
If I was in the market for a desktop computer like this, I would probably wait.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I'm very interested and I want a new iMac. I have the laptop, but this, it's the work laptop. I'd like to have something that's a little bit more separated out. And I would like to be able to use it as an external monitor, right? So like I've actually held off on buying another external monitor because I'm planning on buying an iMac that I can then just use as an external monitor for work and then switch over to my own personal deal later on. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how well these sell, especially with the new ones potentially coming.
Well, moving on, Phil Schiller is transitioning into a reduced role as an Apple Fellow, and Greg Joswiak is the newly appointed SVP of Worldwide Marketing. So Phil's transitioning to a limited role with far fewer responsibilities, holding the title Apple Fellow.
Hmm.
He will retain oversight of the App Store and Apple events and continue reporting to CEO Tim Cook, but most of his current responsibilities will shift to Greg Joswiak, who takes over the title of Senior Vice President of Worldwide Marketing. Jaws has over 2 decades of leadership experience within Apple, and in recent years has become a regular presence at Apple events as well. Despite being a major force within the company, however, Joswiak's presence on the executive team represents a new level of leadership for him and comes with major new responsibilities. So I guess Phil Schiller kind of wants to have some time at home.
What does an Apple Fellow do? Like,
That's what I don't know either.
is it just like a means you still get a paycheck, but you just get to walk around and do whatever you like?
Apparently, it means that you're halfway in retirement because that's what this really sounds like. Is he
Mm.
just kind of is staying there in limited roles while Jaws takes over?
Well, like a consultant role, huh?
Pretty much. He probably just wants to have more time, like I said, with
Yeah.
with his family and whatnot. And
I
I
think
don't
we've
think he's hurting for money.
no, no, definitely not. I mean, we've been seeing him for what, like the last 10 years at different Apple keynotes. And we've been seeing Greg Jaws on a few for the past few years as well. So, I think it's a good opportunity for him. It's interesting to see the transition. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it, but like a lot of the higher leadership at Apple has been there for a little while now, and so we might start seeing some of these transitions happening. It's interesting.
I personally believe that with Johnny Ive gone, now Phil Schiller kind of stepping down, that there's a lot of changes going on because even Apple's products, in my opinion, and I think we've discussed it a little bit on previous episodes, is they're doing a lot of changes that you would never think they would do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of crazy rumors. We don't cover a lot of rumors on this show, but I just saw one today that was rumors of 3 different iPhone SEs on the way, which, I mean, if they want to tackle, lower price market,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually a really good idea. That phone apparently sold a lot as well because a lot of people like that form factor and the price is just, nuts,
Yeah.
meaning good.
Well, and if they're transitioning to more service-based model, then it makes sense, right? Like you want to get people to have your devices so that you can get them on the services. If they're really pushing that Apple News and the Apple TV and the Apple Music,
The iPhone SE is a good example of that because you can run, all their services on there, including Apple Arcade. So they want you to upgrade to any iPhone, even if it's the cheaper iPhone, if they can lock you into those services as well, because
Yeah.
then it's just a steady income for
Yeah.
them,
Little
steady
stream.
revenue. I don't know. They've made a lot of changes. So, and they've been good changes.
Yeah.
I will say,
And it's working for them. So,
yeah, it seems that they're listening to people. I mean, to go back a little ways too, is the Mac Pro. That latest one is a result of people listening because the trash can was not what people wanted.
right, right.
It really wasn't. Anyways,
Apple has posted their first public beta of the macOS Big Sur. The public betas are available on Apple's beta software program website. Just a reminder that it is a beta software, so proceed with care. Apple does public betas in order to increase the size of the pool of testers, and the tech giant recommends keeping backups of your files before installing a public beta. So if you're interested, go check that out. I do not think I will be doing that. Maybe if I had my own personal iMac, like my separate one with the laptop, but right now I don't want to fuss with this laptop.
yeah, no way I'm doing that. Not a chance because, we use, recording software, to do, process this podcast. And I just don't want anything messing with it
Yeah.
at all. Too risky. Well, moving on, Apple to launch Apple TV Plus bundle with CBS All Access and Showtime for $9.99. This is a rumor, but this, at the time of this recording, could happen possibly next week, starting
Wow.
Monday, August 17th. But the bundle would allow users to access premium content from all three services through the Apple TV app. Reportedly, the move is meant to spur adoption of Apple's a la carte TV channels service. CBS All Access and Showtime normally cost $9.99 and $10.99 a month, respectively, while Apple TV Plus runs users $4.99 a month. So that means the bundle, if the pricing is accurate, represents about $15 worth of savings.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that would be cool if you're interested in those channels. That would save money. So we'll see.
Very cool. I mean, we're getting a lot of services now. It is interesting. I currently only have Apple TV and CBS, maybe. Showtime, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I have been noticed, like I've been considering because I have, Hulu and HBO Max and Disney Plus and Netflix. There might be one too many there. I do like this idea of them combining multiples together because then you're able to get more, for cheaper. So, all right. Speaking of other updates, Apple has released iOS and iPadOS 13.6.1 and macOS 10.15 or 15.6 with bug fixes. These incremental updates to iOS and iPadOS are minor and aimed at fixing bugs, including the issue that prevented unneeded system files from being deleted when storage is low. The updates also patch a thermal management bug that would cause a green display tint, as well as a problem with the exposure notification alert. Additionally, the update resolves a bug in macOS that could cause the iMac to appear washed out after waking up from sleep. Those are some pretty big bugs. I'm surprised it got out that way.
But my question is, will they ever fix reminders? Will it ever work correctly?
It's a feature, Kevin. It's a feature.
It's a feature. Yeah.
Forces you to actually remember something.
They make it challenging on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I updated my phone. Didn't really notice any big differences. Although I did have one. It's a weird bug, but in my line of work, when I'm at work, I'm trying to be hands free, and sometimes we're wearing gloves when we're handling certain items. So I'll tell Sally to pause, and that means you can tell her to pause audio that you're listening to, and then I would say play, but then that little screen would appear on your lock screen, but it would just show the play button. And I'm like, really? Seriously, trying to be hands free and not touch my device and
she's
be
playing
germ free. But I did notice that with this update, it seemed to work. So knock on wood.
Oh, good.
Anyways, I know it's very minor, but anyways, we just thought we'd mention. So if you have not updated your iOS device, you can go ahead and do so. So Last week, at the time of this recording, we celebrated Steve Wozniak's birthday. That was on August 11th. So he was born
Yay.
70 years ago in 1950 in San Jose, California.
Wow. He looks good for 70.
Oh, yeah. And he looks happy. And so, if you're not familiar with who Steve Wozniak is, he was a co founder of Apple with Steve Jobs and Ronald Wayne. Along with software engineer Jeff Raskin, Wozniak had a major influence over the initial development of the original Apple Macintosh concepts from 1979 till 1981, when Steve Jobs took over leadership for the project following Wozniak's brief departure from the company due to a traumatic airplane accident. So, we're not going to go into a lot of history of Steve Wozniak because I think we've talked about him before.
Mhm.
Obviously, he's a huge part of Apple. I mean, they wouldn't be here today. He developed all their early computers. If you see a photo of the original, like the first Mac, it was made of wood.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it's crazy. So, and he's still an Apple fanatic. He's been known to wait in line back when we could wait in lines for iPhones, stuff like that. Like he wouldn't try to get special treatment, like, oh, I should be at the front of the line because
Yeah.
because I'm Steve Wozniak. No, he would actually wait in line with people. Me and my fiance were lucky enough to see him at the NAMM show, which is a music trade show, but he was doing a speech and then we kind of messed up and we didn't get to meet him.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a NAMM app and we didn't look in there and see that he was actually doing a meet and greet. And we were like, are you kidding me? They were trying to, we actually found him in like walking down a hallway and stuff. And then, I don't know, they escorted him away.
mm.
Like we were some kind of crazy people.
It's funny because he's super exciting to people who know who he is, but I think
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
small sliver of the population. So he can go out into the regular world and blend in a line and probably doesn't get bothered all that often. But if he goes to a place where there's a lot of technology, that's where he's like, speaking, that's where he'll need people to kind of escort him around. It's probably a
Yeah.
weird celebrity status of like pseudo celebrity, but also normal guy.
Apparently very personable. And, everyone that meets him just, goes on and on about him being just super nice and humble, and joking around with people and always trying to help people. And speaking of help people, there is a website up. It's called wozbday.com. And if you pop over there, there's a place where you can donate for Jules Inspiring Children Foundation, which apparently he's a part of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was also a virtual party on his birthday that had Jewel and other musical artists and many other people, some people from the early Apple days as well. And that was it was very nice. It was very nice, but there was a lot of issues,
Mhm.
but I think that's happening with all of us, at home and trying to do these, sort of virtual parties and meetings, a lot of dropouts and stuff like that. But we'll have a link in the show notes to the website, and then yeah, you can donate there, and we'll have a link to the video as well if you want to watch the whole party in its entirety. So yeah, really cool stuff, and it was nice of him to actually set up this whole place to donate, and he's donating all that money. There's also artwork you can buy actually that's pretty cool. Some of it's really neat looking, and that's apparently being donated as well. He's not keeping any of that money. So
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
so happy birthday or belated birthday at the time you're listening to this, Steve Wozniak. Happy
Yes.
birthday. We could only wish that he was listening.
If you want to be on, man, anytime.
Oh yeah, actually, we could consider having like a permanent third, co-host,
Happily, yes.
and we could skip the whole interview thing, and we'll just assume you kind of know your way around tech and Apple. So you're welcome anytime.
Yeah. Him or Phil, since Phil's got that lowered new job as a fellow. All righty. Well, kind of closing out our stories here. So there's a news story that's been developing like pretty recently, and it will continue, I think, to develop in the next few weeks. But Apple has expelled Fortnite from the App Store, and Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite, has sued Apple. According to Apple, the game developer started taking direct payments for in-app purchases without Apple's permission. Epic enabled a feature in its app which was not reviewed or approved by Apple, and they did so with the express intent of violating the App Store guidelines regarding in-app payments that apply to every developer who sells digital goods or services. Apple wrote this in a statement given to The Verge. This means that it's not possible for new users to download Fortnite, and updates won't be available either, but anyone who already has the application on their iPhone or iPad can continue to play it. One of the ways Epic Games responded to its premier title being rejected from the App Store is with a video, 1980-Fortnite. This movie uses the style of Apple's famous 1984 ad to argue that the iPhone maker has become a corporate giant that it once defied. In addition, the game developer filed a civil lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for Northern District of California. The lawsuit alleges Apple's conduct has foreclosed and continues to foreclose competition in the iOS in-app payment processing market and in the alternative, in the iOS game payment processing market, affecting a substantial volume of commerce in these markets. In further claims that Apple has become a monopoly in the iOS application distribution, Apple's forcing developers to agree to Apple's unlawful terms contained in its developer agreement. So this is really big. I know that you'd mentioned Google is also currently having issues with Epic and Fortnite and has removed them from their store as well.
Yes, that's correct.
But this is also kind of harping on some of the other kind of complaints that we've been hearing from other app developers about Apple being a little bit of a bully and stifling.
The thing about this is that this is totally intentional. They didn't do this on a whim or decide to do it, this was all mapped out because obviously they made a video.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a team of lawyers ready to go as well. Yeah, and they're at war with Google as well, but more so at Apple, obviously, with that 1980 Fortnite video.
Yeah, which is, I will say, is good. It's pretty funny. It's a quick little minute.
Yeah, we'll have a link to that for your entertainment section if you want to just see the video, and of course we'll have a link to this article as well.
At the same time, Epic did violate the guidelines, right, of the App Store. So Apple's full within its right to remove it. I think, though, when Apple initially launched the whole 30% cut from iPad or iOS purchases,
right,
it seemed like a good deal because there was this whole new platform and it was a clean 30%, and developers were just needed a way they could easily make programs and get them up there and get them in front of millions of people. And it was safe and secure. And there was a lot of benefits out of that. But with the advent of subscriptions and new purchases and the fact that a lot of these products now transcend just Apple devices, it's becoming more and more likely that there may need to be a renegotiation of what that cut is. Look at streaming services like Netflix or Spotify, right? If you purchase your subscription through Apple, Apple is getting a third of that subscription. Whereas if you just go to that company's website and sign up for it, then they get the entire cut. And while that it's like, well, boo-hoo, big companies aren't getting their fair share, it's really about the smaller people, the smaller companies, the independents that are trying to come in that could be potentially losing, large streams of revenue because they're not playing ball. So I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, this is going to be ongoing for quite a while because, like I said, it's intentional for Epic Games to do this. And, they're really targeting Apple even more so than Google. And I think it's going to get Epic Games a lot of publicity.
Oh, yeah.
And Fortnite is huge. If you're not aware of the game, it is huge, huge.
You ever see a kid just randomly dancing? They're doing a Fortnite dance.
That's funny. Either that or TikTok.
That's true.
But yeah, and I do want to point out, if you had already downloaded the Fortnite app, you can still access it. You just won't be able to get any updates through iOS. And that's what Epic Games is pointing out too, is that, they'll have new maps and features and stuff like that within Fortnite, and their users won't be able to access that. So we'll be probably covering more stories about this in the near future because
Mhm.
it's probably going to go on quite a while. Anyways, why don't we move on and just lighten things up from here on out?
Mhm.
In our For Your Entertainment section, I thought you would think this is interesting because you do UI design, but I found this video, just kind of stumbled on it. It's a visually impaired woman demonstrates how she uses her iPhone, which I've never really seen demonstrated. And so I just thought it was really neat. That's why I threw it in here. It's really cool,
Yeah.
really super cool.
Yeah, these softwares are really interesting. These screen readers that kind of explain everything that's on a phone. I've seen different ones. I haven't seen this one in particular or studied it, but yeah, like developers need to go through and make sure that their applications are actually work for the visually impaired because these are people who are using and experiencing your products, and the iPhone is a great tool for them. So it's really interesting. If you're interested to see how other people can use their device.
Apple shared a new vertical cinema shot on iPhone short film. So the film was entirely shot on an iPhone. However, unlike other clips that the company has promoted, this one was recorded vertically. According to Apple, the 9-minute short film titled The Stunt Double was filmed by Academy Award winning director Damien Chazelle using an iPhone 11 Pro. Watch as classic genres are flipped on their side, from action movies to silent films, spy flicks to westerns, reframing and modernizing the movie magic we know and love. Besides the short film, Apple has also shared a behind the scenes video entitled Making Vertical Cinema, where you can take a look behind the scenes as they explore how to create your own cinematic look and feel, learn a few tricks for wide angle lens, and find out how to compose shots in vertical screen. Both videos are available on Apple's YouTube channel, and of course, we'll have a link in the show notes. I will say the film is really done well, but me being over 50, I hate vertical video. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have very strong opinions on it, but I think anyone of my age probably does. And I've had a certain family member go to Hawaii and then shoot all their video vertical, which was
Oh no.
it was horrendous to watch on the Apple TV. And I don't know. There's no one. I guess again at my age, no one's ever going to convince me to like vertical video. I can see if you're taking like a photo, even a vertical photo, not just video, but head to toe kind of shot. But other than that, I don't know. In watching these videos, there was a lot of it when I was like, man, if you could just move back a little bit and have it horizontal, it would be perfect. So,
I will say
anyways,
from a cinematography standpoint, like the framing of these vertical videos is very nice. Like it's done intentionally. They use the
yeah,
format to make things very elongated and dramatic, and it's really cool. But if you're watching it on a computer, it's bizarre because it's still a 16:9 aspect ratio in the YouTube player. And so you have the black bars on the sides. And now sometimes they do some interesting things where it's like really dark around the outside. So that kind of blends together. What's interesting, and I just had an idea for an app.
mm. Oh wait, do you want to share it or
Yeah, I mean,
keep it
I'm
a
not going to
secret?
share it, but it would be nice if I could film and know that it's going to look good in both portrait and landscape. And it just automatically crops.
I don't know. You're familiar with letterbox films, right? Where it's kind of there's a
Yeah.
black bar on the top and bottom.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't mind that. Again, it's probably my age, I guess. I don't mind that, but the vertical on a TV is just it's super annoying. You know,
Hmm.
I still feel like specifically watching this video that Apple put out that I would see certain shots again and just be like, if you just moved back a little bit and then shot it horizontal, it would be amazing,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool that they demonstrated that you can film on vertical because some people just always film on vertical. And the film itself is really great, actually.
Yeah.
Really super great. I mean, it's
It's
really
very
well
cool.
done. I was surprised. I mean, it's like pushing like movie quality because again, I watched it on the Apple TV, so you can see every flaw with lighting and whatnot, and it looked really good. And I understand they are using extra lighting and camera rigs, but yeah, it looked pretty good, and it's a really good film. So I would recommend checking it out.
I would say you should try watching the video on your phone and see how that impacts your feeling of digesting the content. Because it's one thing social media has kind of shown us is that the vertical video is great when it's consumed in a vertical format.
Sure.
And so if you're doing it, you're watching it on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, and it's taking up full screen, fantastic. You don't even notice it. But yeah, when you put it on another device or something, that's when you start to really notice the difference.
Yeah, and you were mentioning maybe an app that would adapt. That Quibi service apparently does that, where you can watch things in vertical or horizontal.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I haven't tried it. I guess you can sign up still for like a free trial, but
you should check that out. T-Mobile gives it to us for free, actually.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, you should check it out. See what it's all about. And the last video we have in for your entertainment is the 1980 Fortnite video. So if you want to see that, providing you've seen the original 1984 video, if you haven't seen that, actually, maybe I'll put that in the show notes too, just to compare.
Yeah, you definitely need to see the 1984 video, which was made in 1984. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, it looks a little outdated, but it's one of the like Apple's most historic commercials, kind of changed everything. So yeah, I'll have to slip that in here too. I have to find that. Well, why don't we move on to our picks and tips? And I guess I'll go. So mine is a photo editor called Quickstart One Tap. And it's basically just sort of a fun camera app. This is for the iPhone and the iPad. And it basically it has a lot of effects in it. There's I know you can see this, John, the audience can't, but there's like dispersion type filters. There's like multicolor. I actually don't know what they actually call that, but where it's an image that's kind of overlapping with different colors. There's like a kaleidoscope feature. There's one where you can draw, like if you're looking at this one, John, there's one where there's like it looks like paper, like brown paper. And in the background, I actually drew that in.
Oh, the wood?
Well, the kind of dark part where it looks like kind of charcoal-ish.
Yeah.
I drew that in, and it knew where my body was and my head, so I didn't have to think about it. Like I could just draw without looking.
Oh, wow. That's a good cropping algorithm. I'm looking at these other ones too, where you're like on the bottle or in the bowl.
Yeah. I had to throw these in here. I wish we could have a link to these because they're ridiculous. Yeah, there's me in a fishbowl with a cat looking at me. There's one where I'm on a Kleenex, if that's your thing. They also have one where you could be on toilet paper, so I could see where you'd want to use maybe other people on that, people you don't like. It is free to download, and there's quite a few filters that you get for free, but it is a paid service. Where did I put the price here? It's kind of pricey. So for 1 month, it's $5.99.
It's one of those.
Yes.
Why is this a subscription?
I know. And then for 12 months, $19.99, and that's where you save 73%, or a one-time purchase of $59.99. Although this would be a bargain if it's something you used all the time. If you do a lot of those type of photos, kind of effects and fun little unique collages. You can do sky backgrounds too, so if that's your thing. It's actually a very powerful app. So I put it in here because it's just kind of fun. I do recommend checking it out. It was lots of fun just to kind of mess around with. So we'll have a link in the show notes. Yeah, it's cool.
I would just encourage developers to, sell things for one time.
Their one-time purchase is pretty hefty, but I mean, yeah, actually the thing about that is the one-time purchase of $59.99. What if this?
Ooh, 60 bucks.
Well, like I said, if you use it a lot, it would be worth it. But what if this
Yeah.
app disappears in 2 years? And
Right.
that's the issue. You're better off with a subscription. So
yeah, I think they should instead just let you buy different effects, like give you a bunch for free, and then let you buy them a la carte for $2 or $3 each one, and then you buy what you need and you have it and you're good. Anyways,
yeah,
I don't own an app like that, so what do I know?
that's right. They might be making a ton of money. So
Yeah.
what do you know?
Well, so for my tip, it's a quick and easy one, but I don't know if you've ever been in the situation where you want to look at your watch just to check the time, but you're maybe somewhere that's kind of dark and you don't want your screen to be illuminated, or you don't want it to be so noticeable that you're trying to check the time. If you have your arm down and your watch is asleep, if you slowly turn the crown dial, it will actually start to brighten the screen up gradually to let you peek in rather than fully illuminating the watch screen. So it's a nice, easy way of just quickly kind of seeing if what the time is, or which your next meeting is supposed to be, without really being on top of doing the full gesture of lifting your wrist. So quick, easy little thing. Give it a try yourself. And you have your watch down, just kind of slide your crown and see your screen come up and down. And what's nice is you can do it really fast, like just to quickly blink it up and then blink it down. But yeah, in case you didn't know, that's my tip.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking at my watch going, I don't need that. Mine's always on.
Oh, well, yes.
But this does come in handy. I mean, someday we'll be in movie theaters again.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're actually in theater mode, that it works as well.
Yeah.
So, and I believe if you hold your hand over your watch, that it will dim the watch, and then you can actually use that digital crown to brighten it up slowly. Very cool. Good tip. Well, that's it for episode 32. Until the next time, everyone stay safe and stay healthy. And we hope to have John's microphone issues fixed. Hopefully you'll have a brand new microphone, or they'll fix the one that you had.
Keep you posted.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Read all the stories we've covered and more stories on Flipboard, a link provided in the show notes. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Apple Watchers Podcast, and on Twitter at Watchers Tweet. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcast. You can even ask your smart speaker to play the Apple Watchers Podcast. You can also listen on YouTube, a link provided in the show notes. Please subscribe and rate us wherever you listen. And thank you again for listening. Until the next episode, I hope the only complications in your life are the ones on the face of your Apple Watch.